actually can't tell if this is gonna work. I'm still trying to use the natural light, so I feel like the sun is behind a building right now and it might get really bright here soon, but we are all gonna find out together. Let's get into it. Take 113. What's good, peacemakers? Welcome back to another episode of the Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast. I'm Michael, and this is my crafty corner of the YouTube universe. If you would like to follow me on other social media, you can follow me over on Instagram as Piece4PeaceCrafting or on Ravelry as Piece4PeaceCraft. If you like music, you can follow along to the playlist that is associated with this podcast over on Spotify at Piece4PeaceCrafting Podcast playlist. How is everyone doing? It's been 2 weeks. I can't remember if the last episode I recorded on a Monday or not, but I'm going to assume that I did because for some reason I think that I have a social life now. So it is Monday again. Sorry, I'm kicking the camera so it's a little wobbly. It is Monday again. Today is September 22nd, which means that it is the first day of fall here. I'm going to say in the Northern Hemisphere, but it might be different for other places, but it is the first day of fall, which is quite exciting. I think I've finally come to terms with the fact that it's going to start getting cooler. While I am still enjoying the warm days, those days where it is a little crisp in the morning for our walks. When I walk Kendrick, my dog, those that don't know, I have a dog. He's a mini schnauzer. His name is Kendrick. That has been really nice to just like wear a hoodie and go out in the morning and hang out with him before I have to head to work. Anywho, see, the sun is already coming back. Other than that, things have been pretty great. Very busy at work. Like I said a second ago, my weekends have been pretty busy. Just like doing social things. I went to go and see a play. There's a theater here called Steppenwolf. For those that don't know, it's I believe, a pretty big theater in the country. But I went to go see a play with some friends. One of the great things about being within the, performing arts space is that sometimes, different companies, we will, give offer codes and things like that to get discounted tickets because we're all within the industry. So I went to go and see a play titled Mr. Wolf, which I thought was really good. Basically, a quick synopsis of the story is it's a little heavy, but this young girl is kidnapped when she's 3. And, she's kidnapped when she's 3. And then it's like 15 years later, we're like coming back into this young girl's life, and she's like found and reunited with her like birth parents, and like what does that look like for a child who like has not known these people? What does family look like? It was very interesting. I thought it was really good. I'm trying to get into going to see more plays. And I'm really enjoying the, like 80-minute, 90-minute, no intermission, just like one stop straight through style plays. Lately, I've seen a couple and I've really been enjoying them. So that's kind of fun. And then what else have I done? I've gone to the ballet. I feel like I've done some other things. Oh, I had a craft day with a friend. We try to do at least once a month, which is really fun. I was really hoping that I was going to be able... It's so funny that there's just like a beam of bright light right now. If it gets too much, I will go and close the shades, but I really don't want to. Well, right now at least. What was I saying? Oh, I was really hoping to record over the weekend, but again, craft day happened. I went and got some vaccinations on Friday, and usually I'm pretty fine, but I just felt kind of not gross in a way that like I couldn't do things, but just like gross in a way that I was like, I don't feel like setting up my camera and talking about things on Saturday. And so I figured Monday evening after I'm done with work, I could sit down and get an episode recorded and put up for you all. So here we are. This one is probably going to be a shorter one. I don't have too much to chat about with you all today. I have one FO and two things that I am working, like pretty consistently working on, because I'm trying to solely focus on those two things. Yeah, I'm trying to solely focus on those two things, and I will talk about some other things later. So let's get into it. My first FO is I finished my... Oh, whoopsie. It's extra rolled. I finished my Ceej hat. First of all, what is happening? This is a pattern by Tanis Lovelly, and I've made this hat a number of times. So if you have been here for a while, you've definitely seen it before. If you haven't, here it is. That's Ceej. The yarn that I used is Twisted Ambitions yarn. And this is in Ross's DK weight. So it's Wicked DK. It's 100% superwash merino, 250 yards for 156 grams. This color is called Bend Down Low. And I weighed it. I have about 45 grams left. So I bet if I wanted to, I could use the rest of this to make a smaller version of this hat. So maybe the small or the... I think it's just small and large, maybe? Maybe not. I think there's a bunch of different sizes, because on the pattern there, it's like on a child, but it's also on... Yeah, it's on like a bunch of different people. So I bet with what I have left, I could make another hat if I wanted to. I really love it. I'm not sure if you can see the crown decrease as well. You know, it makes that fun little X. I think I said in the last episode, the pooling I was a little bit worried about. But all in all, when it's like folded up and on my head, I really don't care. I just love that I now have an orange hat with a little bit of teal in it. This makes me very happy. I do have one end that I still need to weave in, but that's like, a couple minutes. I think the yarn looks really beautiful, and yeah. Oh, I guess I have two ends. And I love the way it turned out. I sometimes, when I make this pattern, depending on the weight of yarn that I'm using, so I've made this hat in a worsted weight, and it's a ribbed hat. I will not do the full ribbing, so But for this one, because it was a DK, I decided to do the full 8 inches of ribbing and then start the crown decreases, and I'm pretty pleased with the way that that turned out. I think that I need to make myself a note. I can probably remember. I won't remember. That if I'm not using a worsted weight, then I could definitely just like do the full thing of the hat. And I'm really happy with this. I love it. Especially since it's about to start getting cold, I can put this in the rotation of hats that I'm going to be wearing, which is very exciting. All right, moving right along. That's the only FO I have. So moving right along to whips. Also, shout out to everyone who stuck around in the last episode. I know that there were some sound issues in the beginning, but a little bit into the episode, it fixed itself because I dropped the mic and I had to put it back on myself. It's funny, I've been wearing this jacket when I've been podcasting lately, and so it's really nice to just clip it to the drawstring, and I think last time maybe I didn't clip it as well as I thought I had, and it went flying at one point. Okay, so let's talk whips. So my first whip that I've been working on, because I really want to get this done, is again, the picture's not great because I print things out in black and white. The Cinnabar shawl by Andrea Mowry. This is a part. Oh, I'm like, why are there no marks on this? It's because I'm on that section. This is a half and half asymmetrical style shawl. So one half is brioche, the other half is garter. And I am using some hand spun yarn that I spun. It's really beautiful. Some grays and a little bit of goldens. This was Apothecary, and I think Udemy to You fiber that I'd spun up. It's about a sport light DK weight. The pattern is written for a DK, not me dropping things, a DK main and a sport weights contrast, and so I'm getting about the weight. And then my main color, which is slightly blown out, is yarn by Fiber Hustle and Aaron's DK, and this is in the colorway London Fog. So I'm using these two colors, and I am about, I think I looked at the end numbers and then calculated, after a repeat that I was on, like, what's the percentage of X amount of numbers in the end versus where I am right now. And so I'm about 70% done with the shawl, which is nice. So here's where I was last time. It's a little bit misleading because it is asymmetrical, but I've pretty much done a repeat and a little. So I'm on the last repeat of the body of the pattern, and the lighting isn't the best, but it's looking so beautiful. That yellow is a little more yellow in real life, but I think it's turning out really well, and I'm really enjoying the difference of how the two yarns are playing. The garter side, which is definitely, in my opinion, more main color focused, and it sort of washes out the hand spun, versus you know, the brioche side where the hand spun for the most part is the dominant color, just because of the way that it's being held. But, you know, on the opposite side, it looks equally as beautiful. So this is going really well. Like I said, I'm so sorry I keep hitting this. I am almost done with the last repeat of the body, which then after that I can start the border, and the border is into, sorry, I'm just reading ahead in the pattern. Section 1. Oh, cool. Yeah. And so, yeah, I just have the border left, and the border's in two parts as well. Because I believe you sort of finish it off using both colors, and then the actual border, you know, the edges of the shawl are just the main color. And so I think the bottom edge of the shawl, we drop our contrast color, and we'll only be using our main color to like actually finish off and sort of, what is the word I'm looking for? Oh, it will border the contrast and main being used in the body of the shawl. So I don't have very much more to go. I want to say, I don't know. I'm not really pressuring myself. I feel like by the, you know, we only have one more week left of September. And so I definitely feel that by like the second week of October, I could definitely have this thing done, at least the knitting portion of it, and then probably just need to block it. So that's been going really well. I've been enjoying this like a ton. I took it to craft day and worked on it while my friend was finishing up a crocheted stuffed animal, like amigurumi dog that she was making for a friend, which was really cute. Yeah, great times. Really enjoying that. Now, the second thing that I have been working on over the past few days is I finally started, throw that over there. I finally started my Oak Grove sweater vest by Chin Matthews. So that looks like that. And if you follow the fellows over at Needles at the Ready, you have seen this garment before. The three of us are all knitting the same vest in different, in varying shades of green for Rhinebeck. And I believe that the Knitting Posse ladies, I know. The Knitting Posse ladies are also knitting different vests, but also in shades of green. Last year, all of us and our friend Sue all knit the Sean's Gambier, which is a jacket, which I need to go back and fix part of mine because the buttons didn't really stay closed. I think I made my enclosures a little bit too big, but I can just go in and like felt the buttonhole opening a little bit smaller. I guess I could go in with some yarn too and just tighten it up a little bit so that it will stay closed. Otherwise, like, it is not something that I reach for a lot, but I did last year after knitting it. I did reach for it a few times on some fun fall days, and I did enjoy wearing it, so that was really nice. Anywho, we thought last year that we would all come back and do something similar because it was a fun time for the whole house to be wearing something similar. So I chose Utopia yarn. They're sustainable. This is 100% Midwest fine wools, and that includes Targhee, Rambouillet, Merino, and CVM. This is a DK weight pattern, and this is 230 yards for 100 grams. And this is in the color Balsam balsam fir. So mine has some really beautiful like flecks of yellow, well, not yellow, but it's like a greenish yellow and blue in there, like a blue green, which I think is really beautiful. I feel like I've worked with their yarn maybe once before, but this is my first time knitting a garment in it, and I have to say I'm really enjoying the process now of working with it. I'm excited to see what it will look like once I have completed the garment and washed it and done all the things. You know, I've seen what Ray's looked like, and I thought it was really beautiful. I know Kevin was working on his, and the portion that he showed, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be really dope. But I'm excited to see how this blooms with the way that I'm doing it once it's completed. So, where'd my little, oh, it's on my lap. So this pattern it's a lace, all over lace pattern. And I haven't really, I've knit lace before, like in shawls and things, but I haven't done something that was gonna be on a garment. And so I was like, you have got to swatch. So I cast on a little over double the amount of stitches. And I actually wanted to, it doesn't say in the pattern, okay, oh my gosh, so many thoughts. In the pattern, it just says cast on X amount of stitches for your size. This pattern has like 75 sizes. No, it has 16 sizes for this pattern. And that is ranging from a size 33 and a half chest all the way up to an 81 and a half chest. So somewhere in there, everyone should be able to find like around their measurements, right? So I was like, I'm gonna swatch for it because I need to know if I'm gonna be on gauge. It's written for size US 6 needles, and so that is what I used. I also wanted, because it says, to circle back, because it says to just cast on, I wanted to try a tubular cast on because I'd never done that before, and I thought since it was going to be a 1x1 ribbing, that might look really beautiful to cast on with, just because I've seen other people do it. And I knew that for the bind off for the, what is this part of your body called? For the armholes. Yep, that's what I'm going to call them, the arm openings. I wanted to finish it with a sewn bind off or tubular bind off. And then for the neck, it is supposed to be a folded over collar, but I'm probably just going to do a single because like I get very hot. Anywho, I cast on using a tubular cast on for the swatch, and then I did my swatch with a size 6 needle. I cast on though using, I think I may have just cast on using a 6 just because I wanted to try the technique. I used a tutorial from Stephen West, and so I'll link that down below. I thought it was very helpful, and it only took me like maybe 2 times watching it for it to click in my brain. I think that the way that Stephen's tutorials are set up, they really work for me, and so yeah, it clicked and I was able to try that. So here's my swatch. This was my first go at the tubular cast on. I think it looks pretty good. And I did my swatch on 6s, and I'm holding this pretty close, and you can't really tell, like if I spread it out like this, you can tell that there is a lace pattern there, but when I just let it be, it's giving nothing. And so that gave me pause. When I looked at the gauge of it, I think I measured and I was about on gauge, but I didn't like from back here, this just looks like I just knit like a regular swatch. And so I wasn't really feeling it. So I decided to, now a lot of things could have played into this. Like I was knitting it on, shorter tip needles. I was knitting it, I was doing the swatch as if it were in the round. So I was carrying the yarn in the back and then I just kept going across, and then I cut it and felted the ends because it's 100% wool and washed it. And normally I only look at my gauge going across. I don't really pay too much attention to my row gauge because I am usually deeper than whatever it is that it's supposed to be. And with this, I was not. Like I was almost an inch shorter than what it was calling for. So there are a lot of factors that were going on with this swatch. So long story long, what I decided to do was, in Steven's tutorial, he says that sometimes the tubular cast on can be a little not as neat. And so he recommends going down a needle size for the cast on. Also, he's kind of a loose knitter, just if you've ever watched his tutorials. And so I was like, all right, cool. So I cast on my tubular cast on with size 3 needle. I did a couple of the setup rows in with the 3s, and then I switched to the recommended size of a 4 to do my ribbing. And then, for the body, I decided that I was gonna go up to a US 7 because I didn't like how the lace was looking with the US 6. So all that to say, here is what I have done. I am about 4 repeats in, I think, for my size. So I'm doing the 4th size of the pattern, which I can look for you. The 4th size of the pattern is written for someone with a 42-inch chest, and the garment measurement will be about 48 inches once it's finished. So for me, even if, because I'm using a US 7, even if it grows and it tends to be a little bit bigger, I think I'm going to be fine with just a little bit extra positive ease. So I've done the tubular cast on, which I think looks pretty clutch, if I do say so myself. And did the ribbing, which is quite beautiful. And then I started, and I'm 4 repeats in to the lace pattern. Now, even here, just holding it up, you can see the lace a little bit better than you could in the swatch. And I think for my size, I have to do 11 before I do the next thing. I will say, the lace is fun to do. I've put little markers it's an 8-stitch repeat. I put them every 8 because I don't have the time. When I was doing the swatch, I'd mess something up trying to figure it out. It's hard for me to read lace. I just didn't want to bother with it. So I was like, oh, if something's off, if I just put the little markers, I'll know exactly where I am, and that will be that on that. It's working out great. If I just hold it up and open it some, and this isn't even me, like, really, and hopefully you can tell. You can see maybe if I do this. Like, that's me slightly pulling it apart. And so I'm hoping that once it opens up, we'll get more of that detail, which looks to me like what it is in the pattern anyway. And so, yeah, I'm just going with it. I have 11 repeats to do. The lace isn't that difficult. You really only need to pay attention every other round to what it is that you're doing. I definitely feel like for someone who is a little bit more adventurous, I would even say adventurous beginner, intermediate, like I'm doing this and watching television. I'm not like my eyes are up watching the TV, but like I can peek up every now and then and see what's going on. It's been a lot of, one, trash television, and two, I just realized that I was a couple seasons behind on what's the Great British Baking Show. And so I've been watching that, and let me tell you, I get teary-eyed every episode. I'm like, I don't want people to go home. I get sad when people mess up their bakes. Like, it's the most wholesome, inclusive show I've seen on television, and I'm so here for it. But it takes me about, which is kind of a lot, it takes me 2 episodes to do 1 repeat. Maybe an episode and a half if I'm like in the zone and really going. So that's like maybe an hour and a half to do 1 repeat. So there's a lot to go before I do the next thing, but I'm pretty fine with it. This has only been a couple days worth of work, and so I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've made. I'm going to work on this for sure this evening. I'm hoping to get at least 1 more repeat done this evening, if not 2. I would love to, start the week having done 2 repeats on this, so then it would be at 5. And if I could finish the repeats by the weekend, or by Friday, by the weekend, I think that would be great to go into the weekend having to start whatever the next portion of the patterning is. So that's my Oak Grove. I'm super excited about that. Leaving it to the knitting gods, hoping that going up 1 needle size will be plenty for me. I think that it will. I'm debating on whether or not I want to do 1 extra repeat just to make the body slightly longer, but I'll cross that bridge once I finish the 11 and I measure it and see where I am in comparison to some other garments that I have. I may even steam block it, even though I'm pretty sure in the end I'm going to wet block it. I may even steam block it just to have it relax a little bit so that I can get a truer measurement of where it is before I start any of the armhole shaping and things like that. So that's that. Coolio. The last thing that I want to share with you all is a little chat. I went to the library, and I can't remember if I talked about this in the last episode, but while I was visiting my friend in Atlanta, we spent some time at a Barnes & Noble looking for, I can't remember what book he was looking for, but we were near the manga section, and I was talking to him, and I'm like, oh, it's so weird, like, that I wasn't, not weird, but weird, that I wasn't like a comic book kid, or I didn't read like graphic novels or manga or anything growing up, but like, I'm like, I feel like it's something that I might want to get into or like try reading. And he was like, yeah, you totally should. Like, I think that you would probably love it. And I'm like, okay, dope. So I am still reading River Sing Me Home by Eleanor Shearer. This book is fantastic. I'm about 200 pages in. So I have, a little over halfway to go. And, a story that is about a quasi newly freed enslaved person on a journey to find her kids took me a second to get into, but I gotta say, some things happened. I am hooked. I am on the train plowing through this. Just like actually one day I almost missed my stop because I was so into what was going on. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm here already. Yeah, so this is really great. I can't wait to continue this. I'm hoping that within the next 2 weeks I can finish this. This is like my main focus read though. Then I love my library app. I went to use my library app. I was looking for one book in particular, a manga in particular, and when I was looking it up on the app, there was an article that was like geared toward, I would say, like young folks, teens, college folks, anyone who's in school basically, because the article was like manga series you could finish over winter break. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I clicked on it. I read the article, read some of the descriptions of some of the books that, or series, I should say. Series, is that what they're called? I'm going to say series. Series that were in there. And I was like, great, I'm going to pick a couple, see if they have them at my library, and go and pick them up. And one of them they did have, actually, at the library that's closest to me. And so, one of the books that I picked up was Boys Run the Riot by Kyoto Gaku. And this is the first volume. I think there are 4 volumes in this series. And this series follows our main character, Riot, who is a trans high schooler, and he is, struggling with identity, who he is, and how the world sees him. And he meets this other kid, Jin, who is a little bit older than him and was held back a grade. And yeah, they go to the same school. And they end up starting a fashion brand together because they're both outsiders. They're different. And I gotta say, the first couple of pages, because, for those that don't know, you're reading it right to left. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, like I know that mangas are read that way. But I didn't realize that the pages are also read right to left. So the first couple pages, it took me a second to realize that I'm not actually reading even the page from right to left, but I'm going down. Thank you to TikTok and YouTube for explaining that to me and making it very easier. And about 4 or 5 pages in, I got it and was a breeze. And so I finished this. This was a great read. Really enjoyed it. When I go to work tomorrow, we have a big library that's in our downtown area, and they have volume 2 there. So I'm going to pick that up. I feel like this was a really good, like my main read, Rivers Take Me Home, is really great for the morning. I mean, it's great for the evening too, but there are times when I'm like leaving work and my brain is just like, I can't focus too much. Where this came in handy, and I was like, I can just pull this out and read this, and like the pictures of it all and the less words on the page just were a lot more soothing to my brain. The story's really good. There are funny parts. I was like bummed out a couple times because like people are making terrible choices in this book. But I'm excited to see where we go in volume 2. Very excited about that. While I was at the library picking this up, in that section, I have only seen the first and second seasons of Heartstopper, and so I decided that I was going to pick up that graphic novel as well. So I think this is going to be my next read. That's sort of my like throw it in my bag when I don't feel like reading my other book. I can read this book. Maybe I'll even start this one tonight. This is by Allison, or sorry, not Allison. My apologies. Alice Oseman, I think is how you say it, their last name. Anyway, I love the show. Thought I would check out the series. My friend was like, "You're gonna love this." Yeah. And then lastly, I know when I was searching and looking up like series that maybe I would want to get into, this one came up a lot. And also, after I checked it out from the library, I tuned into the news that's a whole nother story. Anyway, and I saw that one of the symbols that is in this book has actually been outlawed in like Indonesia and in other parts of Asia because protesters are using it as a, anyway. So that made me really happy and really excited to start to dive into this book. But this is One Piece. I think his name is Ichiro Oda. And so this is, I can't remember what they call like a set of them, but this is volumes 1, 2, and 3. So it's a little bit thicker, but it's the first 3 volumes of this story. I think it's currently on like 110, which if you know me, you know that I am not the biggest fan of like long drawn out series. I feel like 3 is my max, but because this is a manga and just even hearing about it, there are different story arcs and different little like, I don't know, the way that it's broken up, people really like it, and I'm probably not going to read this all the way through. I'll start with this little set of volumes 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll read some other things, and then I'll come back to this. Will just be like an ongoing series that I'm reading, but I'm really excited to check this out and get into it. All right, friends, that is that. I said it was going to be a short episode. My timer says it's been 40 minutes, so I lied. With that, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you are getting excited about fall. I know some of you are already in fall mode. I am starting to get there. There's a lot of things to look forward to. I think I'm going to join in the fun and do the Stephen West's mystery knit along this year, the mystery musicale. I have some colors picked out from my stash behind me. I did a poll on Instagram, and yeah, the colors that I thought that I would probably use were the ones that barely squeaked by and were the winners. And so for the next episode, oh yeah, because I think the first clue will have been out, or will have come out by then. I will cake those up and show you all the fun stuff that I'm planning to do for the mystery knit along. You know, last year I'm gonna try to keep on track. Last year's took me, you know, almost an entire year to make, maybe 8 months. I don't really stress. I go at my own pace. So really looking forward to that. Some other fun things are coming, just like in life for me, that I'm really looking forward to over the next 2 weeks. And so, yeah, I hope you all are having a wonderful start to your fall and continuing to make all the things. So until I see you next time, make a piece, spread some peace. Peace.